All right. Hello and good evening. Today in Clear Waters, we are going to have a Christianity trivia. Oh, this is going to be so good. If you allow me, I'm going to check my sound so I don't make the same mistakes as before. This is just going to take a minute to check, if you allow me. I'm going to check my sound so I don't make the same mistakes as before. Seems to be good. This is just going to take just basically open Windows in case I have people joining me on the stream so I can see their chats. Because there's always so many people in my live streams. It's overcrowded. I'm just kidding. It's not overcrowded. But I think this is gonna be very good, and definitely is gonna be probably educational for myself also. So I'm just double checking on my audio levels because I always make the same mistake. Okay. Portrait. Okay, so everything seems to be good. All right. So Christianity trivia. How come I don't hear myself? How about now? Yes. Okay, that's better. That's way better. I always have these technical difficulties, but we get it done. So, Christianity trivia. What is this about? I first thought about doing a trivia of like 20 questions. If you're a believer, it doesn't have to be Christianity. You can be Muslim, whichever religion. Maybe you can give your point of view or your answer to some of these questions. But not today, not to make it too big. I'm just going to ask two questions that I think, did I say two? Three questions that I always ask when it comes to God and especially religion and specifically Christianity. So, in case anybody is watching this live stream or even when it's recorded, you can probably try to answer to some of these questions for Christianity trivia. You know, I think that hopefully this trivia, Christianity trivia, gives some believers a different point of view that probably they have never thought about before. So I'm not gonna make you wait anymore because there's like 1,000 people in my live stream right now. I'm just kidding, there's not 1,000 people. But if you're knowledgeable about the Bible and God, these questions are for you. All right, let's go with the first one. Let's see if I can do this without making any mistakes. Okay. Who created hell? Come on, anybody. Anybody wants to give it a try. Who created hell? A, the devil. B, Jesus. C, God. Or D, hell created itself. I apologize. Oh my God, this is so funny. Anybody wants to give it a try? Who created hell? Just write on the chat. A or B or C or D. Come on. C. God. Oh, Ace of Thunders. We have one person saying that hell was created by God. Are you sure? Are you sure it was not the devil? Are you sure it was not Jesus? Are you sure that hell did not create itself? Why in the world would God create a house of pain, especially for human beings? Why in the world? What makes you think that hell was created by God? Come on. Anybody else? Come on, come on. Who wants to guess? Come on, any Christians out there? Ace of Thunders. I think it was to punish the devil and people that do bad. You know, thank you, Ace of Thunders, for giving your input. I want to see if anybody else, before I tell you my response to your comment, I want to see at least one more person that wants to give it a try. Who created hell? Was it the devil? Was it Jesus? Was it God? Or the devil? The hell created itself? Because hell, as we know it, is a place of pain. It's a place of separation from God. It's a place of torture. It's a place of eternal fire. Whatever you want to call it, you are going to suffer in that place. Oh man, this is gonna be good. Who created hell? Let's give it just one more minute before I give you a response. Ace of Thunders, you say that it was created by God to teach the devil and people that do bad a lesson that they will never ever in eternity will forget. Let's see if that's correct. Anybody out there wants to guess who created hell? One more person wants to give it a try. One person knowledgeable about the Bible, about God, about religion. This is going to be a 3-question trivia. 3 very important questions about God, the most powerful and loving being in the universes. Whatever that means. Okay, I don't think probably anybody else is going to give some input, so I'm going to go with Ace of Thunder's answer. He said that C, that hell was created by God. How is that possible? Ace of Thunder says that I think it was to punish the devil and people that do bad. Ace of Thunders, I would not call this punishment, because punishment you can call like slap in the hand. That's a punishment, you know. Maybe with a belt in your butt behind. You're getting punished. Maybe you go stand in the corner. That's punishment. Sending a human being to a place that is going to suffer an eternal fire for eternity probably not only has absolutely nothing to do with being loving, it goes to the negative side. Negative. This is a horrible, horrible God. Torture. But maybe he tortures in a loving way. I don't know. So definitely, Ace of Thunders, you are correct. Hell was created by God, the loving God, to torture human beings. So there's a good reason for that, right? Don't love the God, pay the price, right? Don't love the loving God, pay the price. Going to hell has nothing to do with being good or bad. You have to get that straight. Remember, the only way to go to heaven is not by being good or bad. It's by accepting Jesus as your Lord and Savior. In other words, you have to accept God. So that the hell is a place to punish the devil and people that do bad, I'll correct you. I'm correcting you. Hell has nothing to do with being good or bad. You have to listen to my previous videos where I explain to you that heaven and hell has nothing to do with being good or bad. There's nothing good or bad that is going to get you to heaven or hell. The only option is to accept Jesus in your heart as your Lord and Savior. You don't do that. Kaput. Cockroach. Destroy. For eternity. So, good reason. It depends of how are you looking at things. Because doing acts of violence, there's absolutely no good reason. Especially if you didn't do anything bad, anything wrong. Hopefully that's clear to you. And apart from that, Ace of Thunders, my recommendation is just a recommendation, point of view. You don't have to do it. You know, this God, the Christian God, as you can see and I explain on my videos, it's a fact that the Christian God is violent. Watch my previous videos. I'll explain it very well. How about we continue with the second question of this Christianity trivia? Now we agree and we are very clear that hell was created by God. The loving God created a house of torture. Alrighty, all right. So, let me prepare my second question for this trivia game. It's a Christianity trivia. This second question is gonna be really good. Hopefully, if you're a Christian, it's gonna make you think. Sorry I'm doing this way, but I am learning how to use Streamlabs. So I'm just going to do this and do this and do that. Here we go. Okay, and this, hopefully you can see it. I'm getting good at this, so please bear with me. Hopefully you can see the questions. Okay, question number 2 of this Christianity trivia. Once you get to heaven, finally you get to heaven. Wow, you went through your whole entire life hanging from salvation, hanging in there all your life. Accept Jesus, hang in there until you die, pass away, and then you go to heaven. You are in heaven. What do you do in heaven? A, you fly on a cloud for eternity, flying in a cloud, sleeping in a cloud. Or B, be on your knees adoring God for eternity. You better take some knee pads to heaven, because you're going to be for eternity on your knees adoring God. If that's option B. Option C, when you go to heaven, are you going to be drinking coffee on a heavenly Starbucks? Maybe there are some divine places in heaven, like divine Starbucks. Maybe not. Or D, are you going to be swimming in pure joy and happiness forever? Which one? Anybody out there, if Ace of Thunder is still there, what do you think? What are you going to be doing in heaven once you finally get there? You sacrifice your entire life. You pay attention to your salvation. You are safe. You are in heaven. Too bad most of your family didn't make it there, but you made it there and you're very happy. So what do you do once you're in heaven? Are you going to be flying on a cloud forever and ever for eternity? Or B, are you going to be on your knees adoring God with your special super duper trooper knee pads that are going to hold on forever and ever so you can get on your knees and adore God forever and ever? Or C, are you going to be visiting places like a heavenly Starbucks, drinking heavenly coffee? Come on, you have a little bit of sense of humor. I don't know, maybe it's true. Or D, you're going to be swimming or flying in pure joy forever. Flying in joy for eternity. Which one? Anybody out there? Okay, Ace of Thunders. D, the reason I think is that you accept Christ and God as you get to have internal freedom and happiness. D, Ace of Thunders. Are you referring to D as in swimming in pure joy forever? The reason I think is that you accept Christ and God so you get to have internal freedom and happiness. Because if you don't get internal freedom and happiness, what are you going to get? You're going to get pain and torture, and you don't want pain, right? You want the happiness, you want the freedom, you want the feel good, because you like feeling good, right? You don't want pain. So you're going to be doing everything in your power to love God, so nobody can tell that you're just avoiding pain. But don't worry, your secret is safe with me. I'm not going to tell anybody that you're just trying to avoid pain. So once you go to heaven, what is the correct answer? You're going to be flying on a cloud. You're going to be on your knees adoring God. Are you going to be drinking coffee at Starbucks and a heavenly Starbucks? Or are you going to be swimming in pure joy forever? If you think that D is the correct answer, think about yourself flying in joy, being happy and freedom for 30 days once you get to heaven. And you're flying very happy in freedom, and then 1 year passes and you're still flying in freedom. And 5 years pass and you're like, okay, I've been flying in joy, but something feels kind of weird. I'm kind of getting kind of bored. 100 years pass by and you are flying in joy and happiness, and you're like, my back's starting to hurt in this freedom and happiness. 1,000 years later, you are like, you know what? My back's starting to hurt in this flying thingy. I'm starting to get kind of bored and pain. I don't know. I think I have to move. 100,000 years later. You are stuck like this, kind of dead and alive, because you got so bored of being happy and free for 100,000 years. You're like, you know what? I need some coffee. God, is there a heavenly Starbucks around here? Is there like some place that I can sit down? Do you have seats in heaven? Can I sit down? Do you have a park so I can watch the lake? No? God, heaven is full of clouds. Nothing else here. I have to go. I'll probably be in a stream tomorrow. Bye. Thank you. Thank you, Ace of Thunder, for participating in this trivia game. Anyways, I think it's about time to go with our question number 3. If you're knowledgeable about the Bible and God and Christianity, you can participate, give your input. This is your chance. So let's go with question number 3. Oh, this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one. I will find out later how to do this in a more efficient way than just copy pasting. But as in right now, this is how it goes. Okay, here we go with question number 3. This is the final question for today. Other days I'm going to be doing more trivias. Oh, here we go. This is a 3-answer question. There you go. Hopefully, if you're watching the vertical, there you go. Okay, question number 3 of this Christianity trivia. You know, today I kind of laugh when people that make money talking about God refers to God as, to Jesus as Jesus dying. As Jesus dying in the cross. Not saying the whole thing. Jesus not just die. How did he die? He was brutally murdered. He was tortured. So the trivia question, who planned Jesus' brutal murder? There you go. If you have an answer for this question, you can give it a try. Who was it? The devil? Was it Judas? Was it God? There was a D option here, but I had to remove it because it was a bit out there. Okay? So, anybody watching this or watching it after this live stream, you can give it a try. Let's test your knowledge. This is Christianity trivia. How knowledgeable are you about the Bible, about God? Who planned Jesus' brutal murder? Come on. Two, 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 two. Two, 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 two. There you go, that's better. So who was it? I think Ace of Thunder, that was very nicely participating of this trivia, left the chat. Had to get busy, do something, but I thank him for participating. Anybody out there that wants to participate in this Christianity trivia, let's test your knowledge about the Bible and God. If you know your Bible, who planned Jesus' brutal murder? Was it the devil? Was it Judas? Was it God? I had to remove option D. It was too many options. Anybody out there wants to try it? Even if you're listening to this after the live stream, you can put it in the comments if you want. This is just for testing your knowledge about the Bible. How knowledgeable are you about the Bible and the God in the Bible? Who planned it? Who planned this? Like people that makes money talking about God says, Jesus died. No, 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 no. Jesus was brutally murdered. Torture. Horrible death. But people that make money don't say that because that doesn't make money. It looks very bad on God. I just gave you a hint. Who planned it? Who planned this act of violence? I know if you're a Christian, you're like, what is he saying? Why is he saying act of violence? It was an act of love. Look at you. Calling God, Jesus assassination an act of love. No, 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 no. Don't try to fool anybody. Jesus was beaten, whipped, nailed, blood running everywhere until he couldn't breathe anymore and was bled to death. Horrible death. Jesus died in an act of violence. And the trivia is, who planned this act of violence? Come on, I know Christians out there that are very knowledgeable about the Bible, know the answer. Come on. Was it the devil? Because you know the devil is very sneaky. He likes to lie. He likes to deceive you. But the devil kills? I don't know. You are knowledgeable about the Bible. You can answer that question. How many people the devil has killed? Or he's just like, I'm going to scare you. I'm the devil. Was it Judas? I don't know if Judas have that power. Judas planning Jesus' brutal murder? Maybe not. I don't think so. So, was it God? It cannot be. God is so loving. Why would he plan an act of violence and then call it an act of love? I have a theory. Maybe he thought like, these human beings are so stupid. I can just do this act of violence, plan it, orchestrate it, and then call it an act of love. So, nobody out there is giving any tries to answer who planned this act of violence of killing a human being? Oh no, I'm sorry. Jesus was a God, but in flesh, which was a human, God incarnated. So he was not really killed. He was just pretending. No, 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 no. He was human. He was human. Oh, okay, sorry. So he was brutally murdered. No, 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 because he was God. Oh, so he was all for the show? No, he was human. Oh my God. Can you please make up your mind? Was he a God? Was he God? Or was he human? Was it really he just died? Or was he killed? I think he was killed. Let's not pretend it's not the fact. So, from all the answers, all the suggestions, I think, because nobody's even giving it a try to answer this trivia question, who planned Jesus' brutal murder? The devil? Was it Judas? Or was it God? Or maybe you can suggest anybody else. Was it someone else that is not listed there who planned this act of violence? You know, I suspect if you're a Christian, if you believe in one particular God from one particular book, and you're going to watch this, you're going to have some internal conflict because your honesty is going to really get in a fight with this belief about this loving God. Probably nobody has put it like that on a trivia, Christianity trivia. What do you mean who planned Jesus' brutal murder? He was not brutally murdered. He gave his life in sacrifice because he loved us. That's what you think, but that's not the fact. That's what you tell yourself because of the emotional connection you have with this God. You don't want to let go of the good feelings you get from this God, so you're going to ignore the fact that this God planned an act of violence and that the whole entire Christianity religion is based on an act of violence that was planned by God. Javier, what are you saying? Oh my God. Please, God, forgive him. Please, you are loving God. You are my Lord and Savior. You don't do those things. Jesus died because he loved us. You love us, so he gave his life. No. I'll be your reminder that you're fooling yourself. If you are in pain in your life, if you're emotionally in pain because you're lonely, because you suffered to a traumatic situation, and you have not been able to solve these emotional problems that you have for many years, and this Christian God gives you some relief from your pain, then I tell you, this was an act of love. And God gave his life, Jesus gave his life for you to save you. Because I'm not going to be the one ruining your life. So, I could wave it a little bit, maybe pretend and lie a little bit so you continue to feel good. But I truly believe that at the long run, this is going to cause some harm. This information. because it's based on fear, it's based on lies. You know, we know that nothing good is going to come out of this. You base a relationship with anybody based on a lie, based on fear, based on avoiding pain. What good is going to come out of it? So, when people say, no, but I want God's love, I want to be one with God, it's just avoiding pain. Yeah, avoiding pain. This relationship with this particular God, there's pain involved in the formula. God love, torture, pain, and you. These three things you have to decide. This relationship, you choose love, you choose God, or you choose pain. You're like, you know what? I'm no stupid. I'm going to choose God because I don't want to be in pain. So I think we have to come into an agreement that this brutal murder of Jesus was planned by God. Yep. I know. It's sad. It's sad if you're just right now coming to that realization. I know it doesn't feel good. Like I said on my last stream, once you start being honest with yourself, it doesn't necessarily is going to feel good. Nope. Actually, it's going to feel a little bit lonely. And I like it. When I used to believe that God was loving, now I'm like, you know what? I think he was a little bit violent. Yeah. So, sorry. Honesty with yourself about this horrible God probably is not going to make you too happy. I created this Christianity trivia kind of game to bring some awareness about the beliefs in God, which I think is ruining humanity. Why would I say such thing? I can prove it to you. This is very easy to prove. Any God will keep you stuck in life. No longer growing, no longer expanding, no longer looking into the universe. In the case of Christianity, now you're stuck reading a book, looking down. Instead of like Bruce Lee used to say, looking to the sky, missing that heavenly glory. The God in the book is very violent. It's bloody. Likes conflict. Gets upset. Does some killing. Gives you really bad options. Doesn't take responsibility. You were created with flaws. He doesn't take responsibility for his creation. So he blames you. So maybe the God in the book is not real. Your belief in the God is very real. But your belief, as strong as it is, will never make the God in the book real. It is just your belief. The God feels good and feels real to you. That doesn't make the God real. I suspect that if there is a God, it's not down here in the little book full of violence and blood and wars. Maybe it's up there and we have to discover it. But looking down, in one point, I doubt it, that we're going to find it. That's why when people ask me, okay, so you're an atheist, I'm like, nope, I never said that I'm an atheist. I'm a doubter. I'm someone that is looking, someone that is exploring, someone that is in the process of discovering who this thing or things or being or beings are. There is intelligence in my hands. I can do nice things that seems to have design on them. My eyes, adjust to light automatically. That has to be programmed. So if you ask me, yeah, probably there's a God. Or maybe there are two gods, maybe a male and a female God. And they made this beautiful thing and gave birth to life. Maybe not. Maybe it's a whole entire society of gods, and they created these universes. I don't know. But we'll never find out if you keep your head stuck in a book written 2,000 years ago and manipulated and changed and Christianity trivia. Hopefully, at least I can give you a different perspective, not from the usual thing that you listen all the time about the loving God from the Bible. I know. Life is tough. Life is hard. And if we don't have anything to believe in, like someone waiting for us at the end of the road, with open arms, with loving arms, if there's nothing at the end, it feels bad. It feels sad. It feels lonely. You feel like, what's the whole purpose of this life? If it's just at the end it's just darkness. You don't think that I think about the same things as you do? You don't think I have the same fears as you do? Of course I do. What's going to happen? I don't know. Neither do you. Like I said, you take a particular book from different books and you say, I believe this one. I believe the God in this book. And I believe that this is what's going to happen once we die. You're betting on a particular number, just like anybody else. Nothing better, nothing worse. You're betting that the God is real because you don't know that the God is real. Never seen him, never smelled him, never touched him. It is you and you believe. Just like me, just like anybody else. The only probably slight difference is that I take it like it is. What I mean by that, I don't know what's going to happen when we die. I don't know. I'm looking for answers. But I'm not willing to lie to myself. Like, you know what? There's a God waiting for open arms, loving arms that's going to love us. But he's a little bit to the left, just to give you enough room that if you don't love him, you go to hell. You see the red light? No, I'm not willing to go through that anymore. Before, yes. Not today. One thing that if you get to listen to this, if you're a Christian, if you're a believer, one thing that gets into your head and gets you very confused is that you hear people in YouTube, like this kid, Wes Huff. I also this really good kid from Daily Dose of Wisdom. I can mention a lot of good people. How come they're talking about God like it's real? They talk like God said this and Jesus. I'm so sorry to break it to you. They have an interest. They have an interest that the information in the book has to be real. Otherwise, they're gonna have to find another job. So any of these guys are not the best people to be listening about a particular God. I'm not saying that they're doing this for the money, but the money could be a way to be misfocused about the information of the book. Sometimes the information about the God in the book can be a little bit, just bend it a little bit to make it sound a little bit better. So this continues to affect you emotionally in a positive way. So you continue to be hooked in my videos about God. So I can continue to ka-ching, ka-ching. Could be. I'm not saying to stop listening to Wes Hoff or to any of these kids that talk on YouTube about God. Maybe if you filter the information a little bit more and not just take it unfiltered and let it into your head and heart, maybe a little bit filtering, maybe asking a few questions, maybe in the trivia, let me change to, in the trivia, maybe you can ask these questions to one of these guys. Hey, who created hell? And who loving being could be creating a place of pain and torture? There's 200, 500 questions that the answers are going to be nuts. And you may also not like the answers, because the answers, the honesty and transparency of the answers about this God are gonna break that emotional bond that you have with this particular God, and you are not going to like that, because that does not feel good. And feel good is what you are after, not the God. Bwah. You want me to repeat that? You believe because of the emotional rewards you get from believing in any particular God. If that God no longer feels good, you don't feel emotional rewards, you will shop around for another God that feels better and fills you up emotionally. Because the feel good feels good. Nothing to do with the God. The other day, I had an opportunity to talk to a very nice guy. I don't remember the channel. We actually spoke on a live stream, and I was telling him, you believe in the particular God mentioned in one of the books that talk about gods because of how you feel about the information from that particular God. You like the information, so you created this belief in your mind. And he's like, what? What are you talking about? I don't believe in God because how it feels. 100%. Actually, there's nothing outside of how you feel about the particular God that you believe that doesn't have to do with how you feel about the God. Hopefully I said that correctly. So what do I mean by that? You feel the God is real. You don't feel the God is not real. That's why a Christian doesn't believe in the Muslim God, or doesn't believe in Buddha, or doesn't believe in another God. Because this particular God is the one that feels good. You're gonna hear me say probably in every video live stream I do. Believing in God has nothing to do with believing in God, and has everything to do with your feelings and how you feel about yourself, about life, about God. If you are a human being that you feel centered, that you feel fulfilled, you feel love in your life, you feel good about yourself, you feel, balance in yourself, you have no necessity for any God. Someone comes to you and tells you, hey, let me tell you about this. You're like, no, thank you. No, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Not interested in your God. And you continue with your life. And the person says, hey, wait a second, but there's a hell. The person is like, come on. Come on. Doesn't need any God. But if you are broken emotionally, or let's say smart but not that much, someone comes to you and tells you, hey, there's a God and there's a hell. You're like, wait a second, where is this hell? Tell me about this God and this hell. And you're hooked. Here's this book. Then you can go to my website where you can get more information about this God and this hell and heaven. Because this God is very loving, you can, go to the website. And then you're presented with books or donations. So, the only way to get you to believe in a particular God from the different gods that you have the options is by get you hooked emotionally with this particular God. You have to be presented with the information, and that information has to be impressed in your system by something that feels good or feels bad. Because human beings, we move by push or pull. I think this is the rule of life. Feel is the fuel of life. You move through life by feel. Feel is going to get you to move. Okay? You are presented with the information about a particular God. You get the impression, they scare you, or the music or whatever. Seal it. New customer for this God. That's why if you're a Christian, you're not a Muslim. You don't believe in that God because you don't have emotional attachment with that God. You have the emotional attachment with this God. So your energy is directly with this particular God, not with the other one. When you no longer feel this emotional attachment, that energy stops flowing, and suddenly you don't feel it anymore. You know what? I heard about this Muslim God in the Quran, and I wanted to know a little bit more about that because I heard that this God, Christian God, is a little bit violent, so 2 months later, you're believing in another God. And you ask the person what happened to the Christian God. You're like, no, that God is, I find out that he was violent and he created hell and he was the one that planned the whole thing about killing Jesus and the torture and violent. No. So I believe in this God, and this God feels good, because in the Quran it says, picture. Anybody out there that tells me that their belief in their God has nothing to do with their feelings, I will say, let's put it to the test. And you tell me, how do you feel about your God? First of all, you tell me what are the reasons that you believe in a particular God that doesn't connect directly or indirectly to your feelings. have gone through this exercise for so many times, and still someone cannot come with something that doesn't have to do with their feelings when it comes to believing in their particular God. You believe in the God because it feels good. God loves me. I have heard people saying no, but sometimes the road of believing in my God are tough. Sometimes I feel like, wow, this is tough. I'm like, how do you feel about being saved? Yeah, I feel good. Okay. You were saying? I gotta go, Javier. The person is like, oh my God, I almost got exposed. The God is not important. The God is not important. Is what the God provides to you emotionally that is important. You like the emotional rewards you get from the God. You are after the feelings, not the God. If you listen to this on a live stream or after the fact, man, go to a mirror and ask yourself this question: How do I feel about God? Man, I hope you say you feel bad. Because that's going to be really, really interesting. I feel bad about my God. I feel really bad. Sure, you feel bad. Sure, you feel bad. What part exactly you feel bad about? Tell me about it. No. So that's why I say also in my videos, honesty, transparency, collide head on with your beliefs in a God. You have to one day you wake up like this. No, 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 no. This is a loving God. Next day you're like, man, but yeah, Javier's mentioned about the violent God. I think no, 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 no. But this is a loving God. I feel good, man. Couldn't God come up with another plan that didn't take an act of violence? That seems to me a little bit violent. Whoa, 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 no, what am I saying? Oh, the God. So, like when I was a believer, I spent my whole days fighting internally. It was very, how you say that word, eroding emotionally. I was like, man, I gotta stop this poo-poo of this emotional roller coaster of making God happy or not, if I have the Holy Spirit or not, if this God, is good or not. What am I saying? Like a roller coaster. Because the God has to do with emotions. Once you understand this concept, you grab the Bible back. You start looking at these videos of people talking about God, and you start seeing the Matrix, and you're like, bleh. You start throwing up, just like Neo on the Matrix movie, because you're gonna see the poop of this information. Like, man, I can see the manipulation 5 miles away. Why I couldn't see this before? This guy is trying to scare me. This guy is presenting, he just mentioned that Jesus died. Why he's not transparent and say that Jesus was brutally murdered? Because that's the real thing of what happened. No, he died on the cross in love for our sins. You're like, man, that's a bunch of God is loving. No, he's not, because no one is loving is gonna cause pain to you. You start like, man, how come I never saw these things before? What was I thinking? Oh man, so I was fooled for how many years? How about I find another God? Maybe another God is better than this one. You're gonna go to the same thing. I think it's funny. Well, at least I myself think it's funny when people say in YouTube, "Hey, I converted from this religion to another religion," and I put on the comments, "You went from bad to worst." You didn't learn your lesson, man. You're fooling yourself from one information and you start fooling yourself from another information. What is there to be happy about? You're not contributing to this humanity by thinking, group thinking, doctrine about a particular God. No. If you're a believer in any particular God, I tell you this very respectfully. You are contributing to the destruction of humanity because the beliefs in God, will never move humanity forward. The moment you present a God, any God, the most loving God, to any society, any group of people, you will immediately divide that group of people. Said it once, say it 100 times. There's immediately going to be people that believe and don't believe, and they are going to argue, debate, and fight over that fact. Make matters worse, the believers will continue to subdivide and making their own different versions of the God. You can see it today. Don't take my word for it. All the different denominations. So there's must be, I don't know, 10, 12 gods, 15 gods, different versions of God. The one that does this, the one that does that, the ones that never did this, but did this. Nothing good will ever come out, in my point of view, introducing gods to any society. The only exception to that, man, that I still try to be respectful of, like someone dying or something like that, and they have like clear convictions in their heart about they're going to be meeting God. No. You know why? Because at the end, the most important thing, okay, I think at that moment, okay, that very important moment is how you feel. Let that person feel whatever they're feeling at that moment, because they're feeling good, they feel peaceful. You're not going to go like, your God is not real. No. Why? What for? The most important thing in this life is not your God, is not your family, is not your work, is not your country, is not your girlfriend, is not your husband. The most important thing in your life and in my life is how you feel. Because you could have a good, healthy body. You can have a beautiful wife, a beautiful husband, a beautiful family. You can live in the most free speech country of the world, and you don't feel anything. You start dying. Only people that have gone probably to depression, to a very, very painful situation, like pain, emotional pain, that would understand what I'm saying. You feel extremely bad or you feel nothing, that means one thing, that there's no fuel of life flowing through your system. That cannot be. So, how you feel right now in this moment is the most important thing. Is if you feel terrible right now, probably you don't want to get off your bed. You don't want to eat. You don't want to talk to anybody. You just want to close the windows of your room, put the sheets over your head, and just probably die in there. Because the feeling for life is no longer there. And again, you could be healthy, you could have a very good family, you can have all these beautiful things. So if you can have all this and you don't feel good, have fuel, no more life. You can even be having problems with your wife or your spouse, fights. You can have health problems, and you still can feel good, and you can still function, and you can still fight and work and find other options, and you can still enjoy life. So maybe those things are not the most important things. It's how you feel. Not even your health. You can be sick and still feel good and enjoy life. Very tough, but people do it. Some people are not scared about dying. They prefer to enjoy, I don't know, their years, how they feel. So when people tells me, no, believing in God has nothing to do about how I feel. Sure it doesn't. I try to be patient, with people. It's not about being patient. I know what they mean. However, I'm looking for answers just like you. That's what they say when they say, believing in my God has nothing to do with my feelings. Sure. I get sometimes comments on my videos like, I smile, okay? I don't laugh at the comments or people. I'm just like, man, I'm trying to be loving. I'm loving with myself, love with people. Everybody has their own opinions, their own way of thinking and seeing life. I'm just trying to put my if in the case you're asking yourself probably, why am I doing this video? Why am I trying to get people upset? Leave them alone with their God. Why are you trying to be so offensive? Are you trying to get views? Are you trying to just make money with this channel? Yes, I want to make money. Oh, I can be transparent and honest about it. People that talk about God in their channels, they will not tell you that. Most of them will not. It will not look good. Do I do these videos to get more views? Absolutely, yes. Is there any other reason you do these videos and have this channel? Yes, thank you for asking. Because I feel that I'm doing something good for myself because it feels good. I think that I'm doing something good for my family, for this country, for this humanity. By calling all believers, stop fooling yourself, stop getting humanity stuck. I'm just trying to be funny. I got that from the Three Stooges. I laugh a lot with the Three Stooges. I like it a lot. But anyways. Oh, it's been more than an hour. Wow. Again, I don't like to do my live streams more than an hour if nobody's asking me any questions or making any comments on the live chat. So I think I talked enough. I'll be doing another live probably tomorrow. I don't pressure myself. I like to do them at night where my phone is not ringing off the hook during the day because of work. So I normally do live streams at this time at night, giving the opportunity to anybody to ask me questions, to put my information to the test. I would like for someone to shut me down, to tell me, Javier, you're crazy because of this or that, and makes me think. Or I also do these things, these videos in live stream because probably someone tells me, Javier, I'm pointing you to a God by doing this or that. I'm like, you know what? Yeah. Thank you for giving me that information. I never thought of that before. I also want to hopefully think that there's something out there. Give me some information. Give me something to work with. But don't try to fool me. I just ask you, please don't do that. Anyways, I'm out of here. Thank you very much for being in this chat, in this live stream. If there is anybody watching, or if you're seeing this after it's being recorded, join me anytime or leave a comment. Please do not subscribe to my channel. Do not leave a thumbs up, like, don't share it unless you think that I'm providing something of value in these videos or in this channel. Thank you and have a good one.